welcome to tonight's BB Can 10 Chat.
Oh my god.
This episode was a doozy.
It was episode 15 tonight, and we revisited the sexy double. Has never been seen before on any of the franchises.
A lot of times, I don't like when they throw a lot of recaps into an episode, but this... Not gonna bang on the table.
To know.
I'm glad that we got some clarification on a few things.
All right. So last time it was a double, baby, a sexy double.
But it wasn't just a regular double.
No.
It was a chain of safety double.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun.
We lost Jess and Tanisha, not in that order. But Helena was feeling terrible that she had to send Tanisha home.
She was feeling guilty because she was working closely with the Mandems Alliance. She had to lie about what she was going to do up until it happened. So she was definitely not feeling great about it. And I'm pretty sure Betty was upset with her. So that didn't help either.
Right. Well, Moose won
the first safety.
And he had to because he was in trouble. He went from 0 to hero.
Yeah.
And it was all about getting revenge on Jess.
So they did the whole safety chain. We've seen it. But it kind of revealed a few things. A few people, you know, were really smart in their choices. Like
Kevin.
The Rat Pack did not reveal itself.
No.
Josh, Kevin, and Helena, they were smart about who they picked. You know who looked really sus?
Marty.
Farty
Marty.
Yeah, Kevin ended up choosing...
Farty Marty.
Marty, because he figured that Marty would probably choose Helena. Because they're super close. And Marty, really upset Gino.
Yeah.
I loved how Marty was explaining his process of, like, who he was going to choose. And he's like, I have a final 2 with Helena. I want to go to the final 4 with Gino. You know, I'm really close with Jess. And then no mention of JC Lynn.
No.
Whatever.
I mean, he doesn't really have anything with her.
No. But it was also insane how JC Lynn was like, I can't believe nobody picked me. What? Like, that's so messed up.
Who's going to pick you?
Who would pick you besides Gino? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're not building those relationships with people, what do you expect? But anyway, yeah, Gino was like, oh, Marty chose Helena over me.
If she hadn't won the safety comp, the second safety comp, do you think she would have been gone?
I don't think so. I feel like...
You think it would have been Jess?
I think it still would have been Jess.
Okay.
I think it was more tempting for people to take out Gino than it would have been to take out JC Lynn.
Because she's like a nothing.
I guess.
She's not really doing too much except
in the
Gino.
game, of course. I don't know if that's happened. Yeah, I don't really care.
I mean, they're showmance is what I mean. Right. I'm not saying they had intercourse. I don't know if they did or not.
Well, we saw...
Did that throw you?
No. Jess versus Gino up on the block because, like we said, JC Lynn won the second safety competition. So, everybody's like, Jess the target, Jess going, Jess go. People were checking in with each other. And then Kevin was like, hey, Marty.
Hey, Marty, I'm putting on my devil outfit with the horns and everything. Do you want to flip the vote?
Yes. Marty,
and get rid of Gino?
Yeah. At the time, Marty was not receptive to that. He was like, no, what?
Yeah.
But that's Gino. Like, I already turned my back on him once. I can't do that again.
Can I?
And Kevin was like, well, we'll see. So, Kevin really initiated things there. So then Josh and Betty were talking by themselves in the Expedia room.
They were having the very same conversation.
Like, should we get rid of Gino? And they were thinking, yeah.
Jess isn't coming after us.
Jess is better for our games.
Exactly.
So Kevin and Helena joined them. They brought in Marty because they need 5 people to evict, to pull this off.
And they basically said, yes, let's flip this vote. And they had the 5 votes secured in that room. And then they went and sat on the sofas.
Well, I have to say something about this
Okay.
Go ahead. Marty has been going on and on and on about this Expedia room meeting and how Josh and Betty were running the whole thing. They set this trap for Martin and he walked right into it. It looked a lot to me like Kevin was the one trying to really make this happen.
Yes.
I think Betty and Josh were on board with it, but I think Kevin was really trying to pull the strings here. But Marty is not putting the blame on Kevin. He's putting it on Josh and Betty. And there was one thing in particular, too.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know, right? Marty kept accusing Betty of being the one that was doing, like, the thumbs up thing.
Right.
That was Kevin.
Yeah.
We've seen it now.
We have the receipts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, then they go to the couches. It's time to vote. And Betty is looking over at Marty sitting next to Helena, and she's just like, I don't think he's have gonna this. Do it. Yeah. Marty is looking like he's gonna bail. We can't do this. Like, we gotta get out of here.
So, was it like on AOL Instant Messenger where you're like, all right, we gotta get out of this chat room. Abort, abort, abort.
We go into the chat room called Hi, and there's just all these random people in there, and then we're just like, get out, get out. That was me and my sister on AAM back in the day. Or the chat room called Poop.
I'll never get that, but whatever.
Because it's like, oh, poop is so funny. Whatever. Okay, so...
Oh, middle school.
Yeah,
and
right.
less. All right.
So Betty was like, we can't do this. We've got to vote to evict Jess.
So Betty bails with Kevin and Josh because they were on the same sofa, and Marty and Helena were on the other sofa.
So they went ahead, and they were the two sole votes to evict Gino.
Right.
So that explains all of that. Good to know.
So immediately, Marty thinks that he was set up because Marty, he thinks he's the most important player in the game, and everybody's out to get him.
We're gonna get Marty with this. So Marty is gonna lie his ass off about this vote for 5 minutes.
Forcing him to lie.
So
he doesn't want to do it, but he's going to do it.
He doesn't want to take the blame for something that he did, so he's going to blame it on somebody else. So
who did he blame it on?
He's blaming it on Betty.
Betty.
And JC Lynn is like, oh, I can't believe this is disgusting.
And JC Lynn is such an empty head. She just goes along with whatever anybody tells her.
Yeah.
And she just takes it as the truth.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
It's super disappointing.
But anyway, Gino the genius thinks that it was Betty and Josh who flipped their votes. It was not. He was like, I could see it all over their faces.
Nope. Okay, so Gino actually goes and confronts Betty. Mm-hmm. And he's like, were you the vote to get rid of me?
And she's like, no.
I wasn't.
Honestly, Betty is so...
I didn't do it, man.
Betty is so upfront and honest. If she had done it, she'd probably been like, yeah, I did. What about it? You know? Yeah. But she was like, no, I didn't do it.
And he's like, all right, we'll talk later.
She said, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Like,
all right,
I didn't do it.
We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so...
Gino is still trying to get to the bottom of these votes. So he's talking to JC Lynn, and he's telling her, there's no way it could be Marty. Marty already turned on me once. He would not do it again.
To me, that would be like, excuse me, Marty turned on me once. He's going to turn on me again.
He probably did it again.
Exactly.
But Marty is like, no, it wasn't me.
He doubles down. He says, I didn't do it, man.
But Marty does say, like, oh, yeah, before the vote, like, there were 5 of us in the Expedia room having this meeting, and people were, like, throwing you under the bus and saying you should go. So Gino decides to pull those 5 people into the same room, and he's like, who did this? Who voted for me to go? And, of course, the 2 people that did it are not owning up to it, Marty and Helena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy, where he had everybody in the room and he's freaking asking them.
They're like, we were just, talking about voting out Jess. No big deal.
Kevin's like, we are not in an alliance. This was a random grouping of people who thought, hey, maybe we could do something fun.
Yeah. Kevin does admit, there was some talk about maybe
there was some
that vote,
Yeah.
But Marty is still just like,
wasn't me, man.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. So, would you say he was tripling down on his
maybe
lie?
even
Quadrupling down?
I don't know.
You quadded?
Quadding.
So it's time for the HOH comp.
Okay.
And it is Squid Games.
Oh boy.
It's red light, green light, and everybody's playing because there was no HOH last time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's red light, green light, and they're in... I don't know what they're in, like, this weird-ass Tron gymnasium.
Yeah, I could see Tron with, like, the dark lighting
right.
and, like, the green and the red,
So they have to throw their little hula hoop on this giant pole in the middle of the darkened room, which is very hard to see. There's a lot going on. There's flashing lights.
Yeah. When your hoop lands on the pole, well, I don't know that they got to hear this, but we got to hear like a...
Yeah.
Whoosh,
Yeah.
or whoop.
Actually, the whole thing was filmed really coolly with
It was cool. The slow-mo.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Loved it.
And it seemed like the house guests had a lot of fun competing in this, too. When they weren't, like, running around. Because you only had one hoop to work with. So if you missed, you had to go and get it.
And then you had to get back on your podium if you wanted to throw it again.
Yeah.
But if the pole was not green and it was red and you threw your hoop...
You're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
So nobody was out because of that, though.
No,
they were all really
careful
careful
they made it,
about
like,
that.
particularly difficult with that.
Right.
Did we mention the last person?
In each round is out.
Yeah.
It's like a musical chair hoop thing.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Summer was out first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just cut to the chase. There was some young studs and one old stud for the final four. It was Marty versus Herman versus Gino versus Josh. All the girls were eliminated. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
in the end, it came down to Marty versus Josh.
Oh. And they originally were working together. And now they're not.
After Marty got Josh up on the block and then was like, I'm going to vote for you to stay even though I'm the one that got you up there. And then it's a whole freaking mess.
Yeah. So Marty won. Okay.
I can't.
Just one slow clap for Marty.
I thought I saw on Twitter a screen cap from the competition and Marty did throw his hoop outside of his area. So...
Oh...
Kind of seems like he cheated.
Ooh.
Like, I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, but...
Yeah, and the show didn't...
I guess they didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
But Twitter is not going to miss a damn thing.
Hell no. Well, Marty really hates himself for having to lie to Gino. First of all, let's dissect this statement. Nobody forced you to lie, Marty.
Nobody said you have to vote for Gino to go.
And nobody said you should lie about it.
Yeah.
So this was all you, baby.
That was on him, for sure. But he's going to blame it on other people, like he always does.
He's a real blamer.
Yeah, this would have been such a different week if, like, anybody except Marty had won the HOH. Because a lot of people were not happy with Marty. Especially, like, Gino.
All right, so Marty says, who wants to see my HOH room? Why? Is it full of cheese and knives?
He's a rat.
He's a backstabbing rat. All right, so it was great.
He got his winner's outfit. He's going for his Wendy's later.
I'm sorry, Marty, but you should have tucked that shirt in. That was not an untuckable.
It wasn't an untuck it?
No. All right, so Marty and Gino have a chat. And
Marty admits.
He throws Josh and Betty under the bus.
Well,
as coming up with the plan.
This is the thing. He's like, yes, I voted for you to go, but it was all Josh and Betty's fault. They set a trap for me. I went for it.
They set a trap for poor old Marty.
Martin.
Yeah.
This was ridiculous.
I lied to you. Oops.
So, because Marty is the HOH this week, Gino had to be like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. But in the diary room, Gino was like, okay, so Marty's a rat. Again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Shame on me.
Right? So...
I've said that many a time.
Yeah. Marty is like, I'm so sorry, like, I feel like such a jerk, blah, blah, blah.
Please tell old Marty what to do.
Yeah.
I'll let you run my HOH.
To make it up to you, I'll put up who you want as long as it's these people.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Gino tells JC Lynn what went down with Marty and that he is a big fat rat liar.
Oh, I can't believe this. Oh.
She can't believe anything except the untruth.
Yeah.
So Marty ends up taking JC Lynn for Wendy's. Great.
That's the closest that he could get to...
I want the spicy chicken!
The closest that he could get to Gino without picking Gino and making it obvious.
All right, so they get their Wendy's, and guess who's there? That effing Kevin Martin.
Yeah, Marty was hoping that he would win this HOH because Kevin Martin's his favorite player. He wanted that message, and Kevin was basically like... you should probably, like, win more competitions. Which is, like, a good point, because Marty, like, everybody's going to be coming after him now. Mm-hmm. He's really screwing up.
He really is. I really want to know how he hurt his head.
I don't know. He had, like, some scratch on his head. I don't remember how it happened. I feel like he, like, hit his head on a camera or something. Maybe I just made that up.
Hit his head on a camera or a table?
I don't know. But anyway.
JC Lynn said, you better stick to your word, Marty. How about that? Yeah. How about you should do that? And put up Josh and Moose.
Gino and JC Lynn are trying to get Josh and Moose up on the block. And this was, like, really awkward because Marty had already told Moose, you're safe this week. Kick up your feet. Blah, blah, blah. And Marty had told... Sorry, wait. What am I saying? Yeah, Marty had told... And then Marty told Moose, you're going up on the block.
What?
And he was like, okay. And then... there was this HOH lockdown.
Right.
Which changed things again. So first of all, everybody's just like sitting there quietly, and Marty's like, I need to tell everyone right now, I was one of the votes to evict Gino. And everyone's just like...
yeah.
And
that
then
was awkward.
Somebody was like, okay, well, who was the second one? Nobody spoke up. But Summer knows.
Summer noticed that Helena raised her eyebrows after Marty made his admission, and she is a sociology major, and she says she can read people, and it was Helena. I
mean, she nailed it. It was Helena, so that's a good education there for Summer.
Okay.
But
you got your money's worth.
Yeah. What also happened during this meeting that they didn't show on the episode, maybe they'll show it next time, Betty was not in there because she was in the diary room, and this caused Marty's paranoia to go into overdrive because there's already been paranoia that that Betty has a secret power, and her being in the diary room for this HOH lockdown, Marty was like, oh my god, she has a secret power, I need to flush it out. I need to put her up. So, things are changing rapidly. It's a Marty HOH. Gotta expect the unexpected.
All right, well, the show did not end with the nominations. It ended on a cliffhanger after a Marty and Kevin meeting where Marty was so freaking pissed. It's so obvious to me that he has anger issues.
He's got anger issues for sure.
The way that he was banging on the HOH coffee table.
And everyone heard it and was like, what's going on? Kevin and Marty are in the HOH room. I remember,
they're killing each other.
Well, people on Twitter were like, what the hell is going on? Because the feeds were down for, I want to say, like 6 hours after that. And people were like, did Marty, like, hit Kevin? Like, what's going on? What is happening? So it was very concerning at the time.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was a lot.
Yeah. So they ended it on the cliffhanger.
Dang, that's a juicy-ass episode that they couldn't show the nominations tonight.
Yeah, right? Either that or they got, like, nothing after that.
There's plenty to talk about for Wednesday's POV episode. This has been a crazy week.
You know what? Been a crazy season. This whole season's been pretty unexpected.
Yeah, it's been delivering.
If only America could be this unexpected, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so...
But is that asking too much?
Maybe. But anyway, I guess nominations and POV on Wednesday night, so that'll be fun.
Unless there's another cliffhanger on Wednesday.
I don't know.
There might be.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
There might be.
It's possible.
For the POV. But, what'd you think?
It was a wild ride.
Hey, man, what'd you think?
Honestly, I really enjoyed this episode because I wanted to see what was all going down during that double eviction that we didn't get to see live.
Yeah, because that was very confusing.
Yeah.
When it happened.
But we didn't get to see all the details.
Now we know. The more you know.
So let us know your thoughts on all this in the comments.
And until her spoiler tomorrow,
much love.